I'm Ryan Milton from Team Flex, and today we're going to be looking at the NPC Battle of Texas Wellness Division. We're going to go over some of our top placing competitors, class winners, review a couple full classes, and just give you an overall better insight into the wellness division, what you need to know if you're out there wanting to compete in wellness, or you already are and you want to be doing better, you want to be winning your class, getting overalls, getting to a pro card. This is the channel that you need to be watching to do those things, as I give you those tools, tips, strategies, feedback, ideas, and go over criteria with you so that you can apply it to your prep, apply it to your improvement seasons, and do your best on stage. And that's exactly what I dedicate this channel to, and that's why I make it. So if you're new here, subscribe. We got a lot more coming. And if you watch all the time, you're already a subscriber, just know I appreciate you and thank you for watching. All right, let's get down to it. So this is, again, NPC Battle of Texas. It's a regional competition, meaning that it's just like the one that happens in your area. If you don't live in Texas, it's just like that one that's next to you. It's not a national event. It's not a pro qualifier. This is a regional event where you go to get national qualification. So all three of these athletes we're looking at here are nationally qualified now based on their placings because they placed first. So let's take a look. So we have Merys here. She is the Class A winner and the overall winner. So she won out of every other wellness competitor at this show, competed against the other class winners and took it home. She's the winner, the overall wellness winner there. We have Aliyah here, who is Class B winner. She took first in her class, qualified then for nationals. We have Jasmine over here, Class C winner. She, again, took first and qualified for nationals. So we're going to look at just these three here in the lineup as some class winners, and we'll dive deeper into actual Merys full class after that and go over that to show you a little bit more, too, what an actual top five looks like. So here we go. Merys, what we can tell right away, very much a wellness look. Wellness is all about the lower body dominance. You really got to have that quad sweep effect, that size in the lower body. And, she's got glutes from the front showing everything here. This is what we know. When we start to see this, we're looking at wellness, right? If you can show glutes in that front pose, you have a lot of lower body development. And also whenever your quad starts to sweep in this way, it's, again, a big indicator, something we know, okay, we are getting a lot of a wellness look. So she's really nailed that size and that shape overall in the lower body. Her muscle groups all match well together. We see some slight separation in her quads. That's really on par conditioning for wellness division, exactly what you should see. And looking at the rest of her, torso here and onward and upward, basically what we can see is a nice taper into the waist, shoulder development that is on par with the criteria of this division, which is showing some fullness, some roundness, but it's not overdone. It's not in symmetry with the lower body. And overall, the lower body still looks asymmetrical to the upper body and really takes the show. So again, that's where we see conditioning wise on point, on target, a little bit of oblique, flat stomach, everything you got to have as a wellness competitor. So she really does have a very, very strong front pose, very strong shot here, goes to win that class and also wins the overall. Aliyah over here is our Class B winner. So she wins Class B. She doesn't have an exact front pose shot in the shots. So we're using one of the quarter turn shots here in this. And her thing, right, her biggest issue is she looks a tad too symmetrical to me, right? Her upper body is still, very kind of not at the right size of her lower body. So we're still getting a little bit of lower body dominance, but for her, we start to see a little bit more of the symmetry, and it could also just be the pose, right? Maybe if she was in that wellness front pose in this shot, you would see that a little bit more, but this is the pose that she's in, this kind of quarter turn wellness pose, which you can use for a front pose, so maybe that is her front pose, but realistically, that's what we see. A little bit of the shoulder development is there. That's all good. Tapers into the waist nicely. That's all good. Lower body, solid glute shape, a solid quad, solid hamstrings. Doesn't have as much of him though, right? Not as much size overall down in the lower body. So that's how she, does not take the overall win, but still wins her class. So very good representation of criteria nonetheless. Just trying to differentiate for all of you watching how you get to a wellness overall win versus, maybe a class win, right? So that's the biggest difference there. Maybe a little bit more lower body muscle for her, a little bit of an increase in that imbalanced look. Could be favorable. Now, looking over here at Jasmine, our Class C winner, it's a lot of the same things. Great taper into the waist, good shoulder shape overall, a little bit more dominant up top. When we look to the lower body, we still have a good, overall base of muscle in the glutes and the quads and the hamstrings. Conditioning is very on par for all three athletes in this lineup. And again, Jasmine has that showcasing well. Again, where she starts to look a little bit, to me is the symmetry again. Her upper body is pretty developed, you know, considering her lower body. It's not as asymmetrical as it could be. That could be one of those things that, again, puts Merys into that spot of the win in the overall here, because she is clearly very much lower body dominant. But again, Jasmine wins her class, Class C. Great job. Very good representation of criteria either way. And that's just something you guys got to know. Now, we always talk when we look to the back, this is where I say, you know, we really get to see the full story, and here we do. Again, this is where the lines and the differences, they get kind of drawn in the sand a bit. You start to see this a little bit more. So Merys here, good shoulder shape overall. You can see that width being created, that taper in, that V tapered look. Judges love to see. Lower body, very much a wellness look. So we got the outer quad sweeps really taking the show here. We got hamstring development pulling through. We got a slight separation between the glutes and the hamstrings. Overall, good glute development, and the upper glute is showing through. So this is, again, a totally complete wellness look. This is exactly what judges are going to be looking for, and hence, again, how she gets to the overall win here. Hard to say anything could be much better. If she wants to go to nationals, you know, feasibly, this is a very on-par physique for nationals with maybe some minor improvements in lower body development, but realistically, that is a very on-par look for the NPC division. And if you can start to bring those markers together, you have a really good shot at, you know, not only winning your class, but maybe winning overall. Looking over here at Aliyah, what we can see is, again, where that symmetry starts to look a little bit more just, again, too symmetrical. So good shoulder shape, tapers in the waist nicely, good V taper, but the glutes and the quads and the hamstrings are not as developed, not as much muscle, so they are still slightly dominant, but not as much as they could be. And I think that's, again, how Merys ends up winning this overall versus Aliyah in this case. But however, good shape to the glute overall, upper glute is there, good glute development, quad sweep from the back, all of the wellness look markers that we would see. Again, wins her class, great representation of the wellness criteria. Just the difference in this lineup for the overall win. That's what we're going to, you know, see. Now, looking at Jasmine, her shoulders do appear to be a bit dominant from the back. She looks a little bit even more symmetrical from the back than she did from the front. So it's, again, a lot of the same situation going on here that's happening to many wellness athletes, by the way. It's not just, you know, these athletes in this lineup. It happens at regional competitions all the time, even at nationals, you know, where you start to get a little too symmetrical. You really want to make sure that your lower body is clearly dominant to your upper body. It doesn't mean you ignore your shoulders, but it means you bring the right shape in, the right size, and you make sure that you're really bringing that lower body development and size overall into you know, your lower body, because that's what's going to make you really stand out on stage for the wellness criteria. And for her, it's just a lot of the same thing. We can see good quad shape, hamstrings, glutes, everything there. Maybe a little bit more glute development to kind of match quads and hamstrings in a sense. And overall, you know, just more size, become more asymmetrical. Now, let's go into actual Merys class, because that was some class winners. Now, I want to show you a little bit different as we go down now into first, second, third, fourth, and fifth placings in her actual class. And this highlights a little bit better, right? Because this kind of shows the criteria a little bit more. Fifth place is going to obviously be, you know, looking different than some of our first place athletes. So here we go. We don't need to go over Merys again, but now we have Samantha in this lineup. So Samantha over here, overall good shoulder shape. Interestingly enough, I'm going to do figure for this video. So if you guys like figure, make sure you pay attention to the channel. We got figure coming up. She's also done the crossover where she did figure, and she's also doing wellness. So that is very exciting, something you can do at regional events. You can compete in multiple classes. So she does out the gate appear to be instantly just a bit leaner, and that's because, you know, she's bringing a little bit more of that figure conditioning in, but still takes second in this class, wellness class A. So very good overall look. For her, it's, again, pretty symmetrical, right? We see a little bit more symmetry into the lower body and everything. This is all here, glute shapes there, quad shapes there, but the upper body does match. And again, if you're crossing into figure, that's going to probably be the case. Looking over here, this is Emoni, and she is basically, you know, going to have a lot of shoulder shape, good taper in, a lower body dominance. This is all wellness look. Her conditioning is the thing that stands out to be obvious. She's a little bit on the softer side here. So that's one thing that maybe she could tighten up a bit, and that would bring it through just a little bit, maybe higher placings for her, give her in that lineup. But again, taking third. So again, very on par criteria for wellness division. And still, you know, you will see a wide variety of conditioning and things like that at every competition, where some athletes are going to be harder, leaner, some are going to be softer. So it's just, all about where you're at in your journey and what you're doing. And this is, again, a very great representation of wellness division criteria. Let's look from the back now. And obviously we can see, looking here that, Merys definitely dialed in, nothing much to talk about there. Looking over here at Samantha, this is where we can see some of that shoulder shape can be a little bit too much. She does appear a little bit more dominant from the back, but again, she does not have the glute density and overall size to really go up against Merys in this lineup in that way. So good quad sweep, everything there. Maybe add some more development to the glutes, more fullness to the glutes. That would be probably advantageous to her to continue to climb in placings. And then looking over here again at our class, our third place winner, what we can see here is good overall shape. It is a wellness look. It's definitely lower body dominant, maybe some more size in the glutes, some more development there. And again, improving that conditioning just a little bit, just a little tighter in that conditioning goes a long way. Okay. Now let's look at our fourth and our fifth in our lineup. And if you're still hanging out with me this long, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe, hang out, give me that thumbs up, share the video. If you got anybody that, competes in wellness, or the other friends or whatever, share them the video so they can learn more. That's really why I try to do this. Here we go with fourth over here, Lena. And then we have fifth over here, Merys, okay? And this is what we're going to look at as our fourth and fifth in this class, and that kind of lines it all up, and that'll be the end of the looking at the class here. So right away, I don't even need to go too much into it. You can tell that these athletes are very symmetrical. Great shape to the shoulders, good taper in, good shape in the lower body, but it's a very symmetrical look for both of them, right? It looks up and down, shoulders and lower body to be very symmetrical. It gets distance further and further from Merys' look, which is clearly lower body dominant, and that becomes the main factor, right? The more symmetrical you look, the lower you're going to place in this wellness division because it's a very asymmetrical look. So we can see that from the back too. These athletes are very, very symmetrical. Overall, still great, physiques. Great representation of what you would see at NPC level in a top 5. But again, that's the biggest difference between, that top 5 in that class versus the overall is going to be that most lower body dominant look. So if you are one out there who wants to go on to win your class, also win an overall, and also eventually go get a pro card, you really do need to make sure you're emphasizing that lower body dominance and bringing that through. And that's what we're going to see is echoed across the board here with all of these athletes. The more that you are bringing that lower body development and the less you're focusing on that upper body, at least in the look that judges are going to see, the better it's going to be for you on stage. And that's what we see here. But great representation from all these athletes, from all these ladies. This is a really great event, really on par with criteria. And this is a great representation for all of you out here watching, all right? So thank you for watching. If you like videos like this, comment down below. I'll keep bringing them out. If you have any specific competitions you want me to review, let me know, and I'll bring them out. Thank you for watching. Coach Ryan is out.